After reviewing the CarlinKit 4.0 a few videos ago, a lot of you commented that you wanted something that could give you more of like a tablet experience, allowing you to watch things like YouTube, Netflix, and that is what this video is all about, the CarlinKit AI box, which pretty much turns your car's infotainment system into an Android tablet. So first, let's jump into the unboxing of the CarPlay AI box from CarlinKit. I actually have two different versions here, pretty much just based on the RAM and the storage capacity of both models. We have both a 4 gig of RAM and 64 gigs of storage version, as well as an 8 gig of RAM and a 128 gig storage version. So we'll open one of them up just to show you guys they're pretty much the exact same thing, but besides those internals. So looking at the back of the box, you can pretty much see what this is all about. It's full Android system, which is just going to run Android 11. It has a Qualcomm CPU in it, and you can also then run CarPlay as well as Android Auto through the device. So first things first, we get a user manual with the system. So it's a full Android system, like I mentioned, running Android 11. You have a bunch of different languages in here and how to start it up, but the process is extremely simple to get this thing hooked up to your car. So here is the CarlinKit CarPlay AI box, a very simple and small device that has a nice look to it. It's this dark blue color, so you're not really going to notice it in the interior of your car. And overall, it just looks really nice. You have some perforations in there for some ventilation. And then on the back, you have a USB-C port to plug into your CarPlay system, as well as a SIM card slot and a micro SD card slot for additional storage. So that SIM card slot is what's going to power your Android 11 system, allowing you to run any of the YouTube, Netflix, web browser applications over the internet. But you can also use your phone's hotspot, and we also get these two cables so you can hook up to any car for the most part that either has USB-C or USB Type A. So first things first, let's get this plugged in to our car and see how the process is of getting everything set up. So very, very simple. You plug this thing in and there's two lights on the bottom of the CarPlay AI box, one that's red and one that's blue, that pretty much lets you know the status of how things are going with the startup sequence. You'll get some blinking lights and things like that, and that means it's starting to start up that AI box, and now you can see we are greeted with a CarPlay message to accept the terms and conditions. It immediately starts up Apple CarPlay like it would normally when you plug your phone into the device, but then we get issued kind of like, we first go into this initial screen of how it's going to look, but it's definitely not to scale. So the system knows that, and it actually restarts itself. It restarts the CarPlay system in order to take into account the actual resolution of the screen, the infotainment system that it's working with depending on the car. Now you can see we're in a full screen mode on our Mercedes GLA screen, and it's very, very smooth. Pretty much plug and play with this device. So we just have to accept the terms and conditions that, of course, this is an Android 11 system running on this device, and the car thinks it's just CarPlay. So now you have the ability to drive with this on, which you definitely shouldn't do, being able to use this device. I would have liked some functionality to know that the car is in drive and then only allow you to use the CarPlay or Android Auto systems, but it doesn't do that. So you can still access all the functionality. So of course, it's up to you to not use that while you're driving. But of course, first things first, let's test some fun applications. And the first one is YouTube. I did not get a SIM card with this device. I just used my own phone's hotspot in order to run this and give it Wi-Fi access in order to actually run YouTube, run Netflix, run web browsing. And it's extremely smooth and simple to use. You're pretty much just using the touchscreen and scrolling through like you would on any other tablet, any other Android tablet that you might use. And you have full access to a bunch of preloaded apps, including YouTube, Netflix, you have Chrome on there, Spotify, YouTube Music, a bunch of preloaded apps, but you can, of course, download more items from the store in order to get the apps that you want. And that's really where that storage dependency comes in. Depending on what apps you're looking for, you might want that extra 128 gigs of storage, or you might only need 64. But I'll leave all that down below in the description, both links to both devices, so you can purchase whichever one makes most sense for you. And as we continue to go through here, we can, of course, launch Netflix. And I'm not going to log in or anything, but just so you can see that it actually works, it brings you to the Netflix start screen. It asks you to log in. And pretty much, yeah, you can watch whatever Netflix shows or movies that you're looking for, and you can of course watch YouTube. It's also going to depend on your car's screen how good the quality of all that's going to look, but so far it looks amazing, and you can use the system to go back to your regular car's infotainment system. You can also then go back and forth to the Android 11 system. So it's a really, really nice setup that allows you to kind of bounce back and forth between different screens and different systems depending on what you're needing to do at any time during the usage. So here is the actual auto kit, or the CarPlay Android Auto functionality within the vehicle. It's extremely simple to get this thing connected. You're just going to look for the AI box in your car or in your phone's Bluetooth settings, whether it be Apple or Android. It'll automatically connect. It did take me a couple of times to actually get this thing connected, so I had to forget the device in my phone and then reconnect to it. But once you're connected, it's extremely simple, and you pretty much have a full CarPlay functionality out of this thing inside of the Android 11 system. So you can go back and forth between CarPlay and your Android 11 system. So you can either run it in tablet mode and watch your videos or whatever when you're parked, or you're getting gas, or you're sitting in a parking lot or whatever, and then bounce into CarPlay when you're on the road. It's also very, very easy to just shut the car off, turn it back on. As soon as you turn it back on, the system instantly loads. Whether you were in CarPlay or you're in the Android 11 system, it'll pretty much load you exactly where you were before. Extremely, extremely nice. So you're not really bouncing back and forth between anything. And when you throw it into reverse, of course, it's going to bring up the backup camera like it would normally with CarPlay. And when you throw it in drive, it's still going to allow you to watch those videos, like I mentioned. So just, of course, you don't want to do that while you're driving the vehicle. And in terms of the startup of actually connecting CarPlay to this system, as well as to the CarlinKit 4.0, very, very similar connection times, around 12 seconds to get everything connected. And one of the other features of this device is you have this little button that you can press, and it pretty much just brings up like an Android screen. So you can go back to your previous screen, you can go home, launch some different things. So a very, very nice little addition there. One of the downsides of the system is that it converts the typical interface to swipe back and forth in the car to a mouse, and it wasn't very good. It was very laggy. It's just one little complaint, but overall not too bad. The other thing is you can have your hotspot and CarPlay running at the same time. So if you're running the CarPlay system, then going back into the Android version, you're gonna have to reconnect your hotspot on your phone to the device in order to use this. But overall, it is an extremely, extremely easy thing to set up, extremely easy to use. Overall, I love this AI box. It pretty much transforms your car infotainment system into a tablet as well as a CarPlay Android Auto system. So if you're interested in the CarPlay AI box from CarlinKit, definitely check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, get subscribed to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.